Hello everyone, and once again welcome to our latest series of using the CATIA software. We hope that you are enjoying our videos, and we again request you to keep in touch with all our previous videos because it will be helpful in using the commands in the future as well. First things first, we are learning different commands in the Sketcher tools. So let us start off by opening the Sketcher. So to do that, we will choose one of the planes. Today we are going to choose the YZ plane, going onto the position sketcher option and then clicking on OK. We are now in sketcher option. As we have seen the introduction of the dimensional constraints, today we are going to learn how to use the geometrical constraints. Let us first of all draw a figure. So let us draw a rectangle. So this is how, rather than choosing a rectangle, you will say it is becoming a frequent. Let us choose a hexagon anyway. So there it is. Let us choose a hexagon. For instance, we'll choose the origin and then we will keep it parallel to the x-axis. This is how a hexagon is created. Now, how to actually say and constrain it? We simply have to choose one of the lengths and it becomes constrained. Now this looks simple, so let us now see how to actually draw a rectangle and how we are going to, okay, this is the way that we are going to have it. So guys, make sure that to create a geometrical constraint, the geometrical constraint option actually is not enabled at the moment, because it only gets enabled when we choose two different aspects of a drawing. So if I choose two lines which have a relationship which might well have a likeliest relationship of parallelism, perpendicularity, or if the lines can coincide with each other, these are the ones that we should be using. So if I choose this line and if I choose the x-axis, the most likeliest scenario would be that they might just coincide or they may well be parallel to each other. These are the two geometrical constraints that it might have. So now the option gets enabled. If you have a look, if I once again disable it, if I choose two lines, selecting line number 1, pressing the control button and then choosing line number 2, that is the x-axis, this is how and this geometrical constraint option gets open. So if we click on that option, here we can see which are the likeliest scenarios that can be created between these two lines. Here we can see it can be coincide, horizontal, vertical, since this line is not vertical. So if I create it as horizontal, there it is, it becomes horizontal. However, if I disable the option and if I give vertical option, here it becomes vertical as well. So here we can create a geometry. See, when it is vertical, it is perpendicular to this. When it is horizontal, it is parallel to x-axis. So it creates a geometrical constraint between two aspects. If I use the coincide option, it actually gets coincide with this line. So here we can see the coincide option is also one which is used frequently. If I choose the length option, then the length appears, that is, it gets the dimensional constraint if I choose the length option. If I choose the distance option, it actually defines the distance with the origin. Here it is 0 because it coincides with the origin. If I say angle, again the angle will also be 0 because it actually is coinciding with the origin. However, we don't have to choose the angle, so we can define it. So this is how it has been created, geometrical constraint. So let us now choose a rectangle. There it is, a rectangle. Now if I choose this rectangle and this axis, because they are parallel, the most likeliest options are this coincide option, fix option is actually the one that fixes commands. Don't use it frequently. So length, distance, angle, these three commands will exist anywhere because these are the most likeliest options. If I choose the coincide option, these two lines come in one single constraint, that is at 0 0. So this is how it's been defined. So if I actually just bring it back into the original position, and if I have a line, and if I want to coincide this rectangle with this line, I can just simply select this line, press Ctrl, and then again press one of the lines, and then I can now leave the control button, and then I can choose the constraint. Here it is, coincide option is enabled, and so we have it. The rectangle gets coincided with the line. Coincide actually, is similar to creating linear constraints into 0 0, because if we use the other option, that is the dimensional constraint, it will give you a dimension, and if I double click and make it 0 as well, even in that case it will come closer to they will bisect each other as well. So you can choose anything that you want. So we have now learned how to use the coincide option. If I draw a circle, here it is, I've drawn a circle, and if I have a line present, and if I want to create a tangency between a circle and a line, then I just simply have to select both these aspects. By using the control button, I can select both this. You can choose only two, by the way. You can't choose more than two options at a time. You can't choose three options. You can only choose two options. The geometrical constraint dialog box gets enabled. Clicking on it, the most likeliest options that appear, that is the radius, diameter, horizontal, vertical. Horizontal, vertical is for the line, whereas the radius, diameter option is present for the circle, and the length, distance options, which is by default present, we don't often use that, and neither we use the fix option. Tangency is what we want to create, so this is how a tangency is created. However, this is white because it doesn't have a relationship with the origin, although the origin is in there, but the center, neither the circle has been defined as well. So I can also create a tangency with this horizontal vertical axis as well. So using the tangency, here it is, I create a constraint. Here it is. It looks simple, isn't it? So this is how we are going to learn. Let us look at our next option in the constraint dialog box, and that is the fix option. We have learned how to use a fix option. Just simply go and choose the fix option. It gets choose. This is there. It's all over. Again, now there is one more option that is present, parallelism. Say for example, we have line number 1 and we have line number 2. Now these two lines aren't parallel, isn't it? So if I choose these two lines by using the control button, and then if I choose the parallelism option, here it is, the two lines become parallel. By default, one of the line gets parallel to the other line. So this is how we create parallelism. However, if I delete the parallelism option by just right clicking, we have the delete option. And once again, I select these two lines, and I have another option, that is the perpendicularity. This is how a perpendicularity is created. The lines may not be self-intersecting, but a perpendicularity has been created. Since the lines aren't defined with the origin, you can simply move these lines anywhere. It is only when they are constrained that they can't move. So this is how these options work. So another option that we can actually choose in this dialog box is perpendicularity. We have learned coincide, we have learned how to define the radius, tangency, parallelism as well. Now there is another option that we will be learning, and that is concentricity. So what is concentricity? If you have gone through your school days, you will know that if the two circles have the same radius, they are actually concentric circles. So let us draw two circles. This is the circle number 1. I'll just make sure you use it parallel, normal to the curve. There it is, and then we will draw another circle here. Now if I want to make sure that these two circles pass through just one single point, then I have to choose the option of concentricity, which is present in the geometrical constraint. Choose both the circles by the control button and then click on the geometrical constraints, and here we have concentricity option available to us, and then clicking on OK, we have concentricity created between these two. If I have another option, that is coincide option, then the other circle gets coincided with the other circle. So here we can see. So this is how we create different relationships as well. We have altogether different types of dimensions present at in the system, so we will be learning about them later on. But in the next video, rather than focusing on different geometrical concepts, these were the two important constraints that we were going to learn. So in the next video, we will learn how to actually create a pentagon. Now that we have learned how to use the profile as well as the constraint dialog box, we will learn how we are going to create a pentagon. Go through the description, you will find the drawings for the pentagon. We have chosen a pentagon of 50 mm length, so we will be defining that in the next video. Join the next video, don't miss the video, and we hope that you have enjoyed our today's video and find it helpful as well. Thanks for joining, and join us again next time. Until then, goodbye.